All right, let me get to share my screen and we will start here. Okay, John is not joining us today. It's just me. I'm the co-founder of Advocati Marketing, and what we do is we help lawyers and law firms get more clients. So today I want to talk to you about strategies to grow your law practice using LinkedIn. I mean, it's one of those tools that's very good for networking. A lot of us don't use it as much as we could. When people are looking for a new opportunity, they generally go to LinkedIn, but it's a very good tool to network for lawyers. Not necessarily for getting, new business, et cetera, but for networking to either get referrals, et cetera, things like that. So one of the things first I want to talk about is optimizing your profile for search engine optimization. So you set up your LinkedIn page or you set up your LinkedIn personal page, and you might have a business page, a law practice page, and you should have both. Um, but you want to make sure that that profile has relevant keywords to what your practice area is, and so it's targeted just like you would do on the website. Have it professional, a comprehensive summary that really encapsulates what you do, and not 35 sentences, but three or four sentences that really summarize of what you do and how you do it, etc. So, and your experience sections of things along those lines, because that's important, with people, other attorneys, or maybe you're doing estate planning and things like that, and you want to connect with um, financial planners, et cetera, lead sources. So that's something you want to do. So the better your SEO is on that, the better your visibility, the better search results, et cetera. So, it doesn't take too long to do it, just do it. So, and these are some successful LinkedIn profiles, as a trial counsel, personal injury attorney, and complex civil cases and, commercial things. So you can see how the about section is done differently. I like the center one because, you know, it's separated. It's very, you can see it, areas of practice, personal injury, automobile injury, and then the about on each one of them are, they're good. I mean, they tell about the person, et cetera. So spend some time doing that, and I think you'll find you'll get, better results, because people don't spend a huge amount of time reading everything, which you probably know. Oh, so this is a big thing, and I think a big thing with social media in general is it's not just talking, right? Just you talk. It's actually engaging with the content and engaging with people who post different things, blog posts, case studies, legal updates, industry news. So when you post, the content, right? You can do that. Let's say you post it on your personal page, but you also should post it on your practice, your legal practice page. And then you also should find relevant groups and et cetera, where other attorneys or other, referral sources might, read and look at that kind of stuff. So you do that. And the other thing is you engage with other people's content. So you're offering stuff, you're commenting on stuff, and that's how these things go. I mean, a few years ago, it's about a decade, I've got a client from uh, a an in-person seminar we did, and then somebody who was at it was connected with somebody in Texas, and through LinkedIn we hooked up and did some work for them. So if you do engage with the content, you're going to have better results than just posting stuff. Yeah. And you'll certainly have better results than, I don't want to say wasting your time on social media, et cetera, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook. It's very hard to get business from those sources, because most people don't think about attorneys all the time. They think about an attorney when something goes wrong or they need something done. Just like I say to attorneys, when's the last time you thought about your mechanic? You really don't think about it until something goes wrong. So focus your energy on things that can, ultimately help you grow your practice and connect with other attorneys. and other CPAs and whoever, hospital administrators. There's a million ways to connect with people, and you just have to spend a little bit of time doing it. You don't have to spend a huge amount of time, but spend time engaging with content. Don't just talk, so to speak. Listen. I mentioned or alluded to before about leveraging LinkedIn groups. When you post that content, we got somebody else joining. When you post that content, post it on LinkedIn groups and then contribute to the discussions and answer questions, share your expertise. A lot of these groups, you don't necessarily have to be an attorney to join. So you can put things out there and comment on things and grow your network. I mean, the bigger your network, the better off you are generally, because you never know when you're going to connect with somebody. Like we're in the process of hopefully getting on this client from Europe who does European trademark, copyright issues, patent issues over there in Europe, and connecting them with a client of ours in New York, who mainly focuses on the United States. So it's that leveraging of your network that's very useful, but you got to build your network and you got to contribute to your network. So if you're not contributing, then you're not really going to get the benefit of it. It's just looking. So you definitely want to contribute that way and engage. I mean, people want engagement. And I mentioned this, you network, that's one of the purposes of networking. Now you can invite connections and do all of these things out there to build the network. And all of us who go on LinkedIn know there's probably 100 messages in your box that are, hey, let's connect, etc. Not all of them are relevant and most of them aren't. But then you connect with the right ones and build that context, build that connection, and then grow that way. So if you do that, you're going to build a network, and even if you don't do a particular practice, you can refer matters out. And we've got a real estate client strictly does closings, who they did a closing for somebody, and then the client had an issue with that required possible med mal, and they referred it out and got their referral fees. So that's the kind of stuff the networking helps, right? That's a little bit different with the client, but you can do that with other attorneys. If you don't want to do something or can't do something, you can build it that way and leverage your legal practice. And that's where networking strategically happens on LinkedIn and happens in person, happens all over the place. If you network, you generally do very well. And that's why people know Paul Revere, because Paul Revere was very networked. They don't know the other guy went in the other different direction, warning people about the British, because he wasn't as, networked. So I know it's an archaic example, but it still demonstrates the point. Nope, we got somebody else entering. So this is great. All right, you get these client testimonials and case results, et cetera, and you might put them on Avvo or whatever, or they'll get them on Avvo, which 99 out of 100 people, and I bet you it's closer to 100 out of 100 people in the general populace have never heard of it, ever. So, but either way, you get these referrals or you get these testimonials, and hopefully have a methodology to get testimonials. So if you get it on Google, for example, it's there, you take it, you highlight it. Somebody's talking. Hopefully they muted there. All right. So, so take those testimonials you get on Google, or, which really are the highest value to you, and then, share them, not just on your LinkedIn profile, but that's when you put it on Facebook or Instagram, but you can do it that way and you're going to grow your practice. But if you get reviews, you've got to find ways to get them out there. So you're showing people with that social proof, right, that you know what you're doing and you have a track record to do it. So now if you're just starting out in a law practice, that might be a little bit more difficult, but you'll get testimonials. You just have to consistently ask for them, you know, and if you don't, then you won't you won't get them. I mean, you're going to ask 10 people and get one. It's a very difficult thing to do, and sometimes you see these law firms that have thousands of them, and you know it is bogus, right? Um, Firm's been in business or practicing for 5 years, and they have 1,000 reviews. Highly unlikely, that they've actually got all of those. So, you focus on a few examples, genuine proof, and the more you do that, that you help grow. And we do actually have CLE we do on legal ethics, et cetera, related to marketing. So, make sure you're aware of your state bar association's guidelines so you don't go astray of the bar. And LinkedIn publishing. So this is where if you wrote a blog, for example, it's not necessarily post the blog, but actually write the article and then post it as an article on LinkedIn. So it's just another way for you to get that content out there, and you can, educate about, new laws, a new take on the laws, new Medicaid rule coming in or whatever. Uh, that's something you want to do, and it's good. It's good to do it. You don't have to do it, obviously, every week, or even every month, because you got busy, you're busy doing stuff. But, post something. It forces you to get back to, writing, in a different way, more of a, what am I trying to say? School wise, get back and do it, do it that way and write a paper, and just do it. But it doesn't have to be long, but just it has to be relevant and shows your credibility. And then you put that on, put that on the blog first, then you put it on here, then you slice and dice that article, and you can make 20 different social media posts out of it. I mean, so once you get that content, you can do a lot of different things with it, you know. And this is why I was talking about, earlier. You got to engage with your network, and not just, hey, I got something to say, I'm going to say it, and then get off. That's not gonna, grow you at all. You're just going to stagnate. If somebody takes the time and comments on something, then you generally should try to find a way to comment on it and not just, like or something like that, because that's easy. And people will appreciate that. And sometimes they'll almost test you for, how much are you going to do? How much are you going to care and do that kind of stuff? So that is something, if you're gonna do it, engage with it. And it doesn't have to be, every day, like, got a couple of networking meetings a week, and, at the meeting, the first 10 minutes after we all, do the networking stuff, and now we're doing the housekeeping, that's when I'll go on and just interact with LinkedIn especially. So do that, and you could be like my friend who I went to law school with, who does contracts all the time, and all he does is send me YouTube videos on crypto, like long videos. I'm like, I'm not going to watch this, Hal, but he loves that. So if you want to do engagement, you can say, hey, here's a good video on something if you happen to see it. But the whole point is engagement. Don't just let your network uh, just decline by not paying attention to it. And this is another way to do it with is sending, personalized messages, not just, hey, I want to connect, but put a note there, spend a little bit of time on doing it. Because if the more you do that, the more you're going to go, all right, somebody took the time to send me this. I'm going to actually look at it, as opposed to ignoring it, you know. So do that. And then you look at your analytics. I mean, a lot of times people don't look at their analytics on how many people came to their pages on LinkedIn and that kind of stuff. So it can kind of give you an insight to where people are coming from and what they're about and that kind of stuff. And you'll adapt it. Hashtags. This is just some of the instances of hashtags that we use, but you can do it for you too. I mean, there's plenty of hashtag generators out there if you want to put a couple of keywords in and just, put them in. You don't have to have 100, but a couple, several would be good. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't necessarily do all the time, but it's LinkedIn advertising, and so you can find the goal and, conversions, you can try the lead conversions and that kind of stuff. I like to use LinkedIn as almost a gateway to investigate your law firm more, right? You're very rarely going to get great leads, even during that pandemic, et cetera. Well, a lot of people were doing these webinars, and people would sign up through Facebook and LinkedIn, and then they'd have maybe 100 people who signed up on Facebook, and then maybe one showed up, and because these people didn't even realize that they had actually signed up because they just hit that Facebook button. Sure, send my Facebook information. So you're going to look at this and look at it in the right context, that even though you can try all these other methodologies, it's probably more of a brand awareness on steroids that you're going to do. But you can choose the different categories of, awareness, consideration, and conversion. So you can target you can upload a list of people as well, but you can target on people who you're looking for. Like for us, we want managing partners, solo practitioners, etc. Our sweet spot is smaller law firms and solo practitioners, and less than 20 attorneys, etc. is our sweet spot, let's say. So and our real sweet spot is solo practitioners. So you can target your audience in a lot of different ways, like the lookalike audience. After you upload your list and have all these different ways to target people, you're not going to find out who these people are, when you're targeting, but they'll, LinkedIn will obviously send them to you, and then you can use that to build a list from that so that you can engage with them in marketing, email marketing, and that kind of stuff. So these are the various formats. There's a bunch of formats here for how you can do it. You're not going to do a lot of phones beeping. You're not going to do a lot of images, maybe one image, but you're not going to go, hey, here's a carousel of images. Chances are you have an image to try to draw people in. A video is great if you put together a short form content and just put it into a video, and it can be even something like this. Just turn on your phone and camera and your video and record, or just record from Zoom. I think a lot of times people they don't do some of the video stuff because they're so focused on trying to make it look completely professional that the amount of work that requires a lot just doesn't happen. So it's good to have something where you just sit there and spend a couple of minutes talking about it. And I'm in Florida. There's a state planning lawyer, and he consistently, does that. He's not getting as much play as I think he could, and hopefully he'll eventually become a client, but he's still usually consistent in doing that. So, I mean, this is quick. It's not a long, involved one, because it's really a subject, and I know people's time is precious. So I wanted to give you the meat of the sandwich, so to speak, and go from there. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I just realized, looking at that, somehow in one of the edits we just did, we took the phone number. Regardless, just call me. That 800 number is going to go to me anyway. So it's 631-310-4675, and you can email me as well. And you're on our email list. That's how you found us. Does anybody have any questions at the moment? Nope. This reminds me when I worked at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in Washington, and this reminds me of some of the press conferences we did where the New York Times and Wall Street Journal wouldn't ask the questions because they didn't want their competitor to know what they were going to ask. But then you get off the conference and then you get the calls. All right. Well, I don't see any questions, so I am going to, I guess, end this. So I hope you have a good day and look out for future webinars we're doing. And wait, is there a question? Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, if you have a question, email me. You're on our email list, so just reach out to me and then we'll go from there. All righty. Thank you.